Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Falls from Iron. Welcome to our post-match review. I don't know how long this is going to take. 0-0 draw is always a bit of a difficult one to try and do a post-match review on, I suppose. But there at least was something that happened in the 95th minute that we can kind of talk about. But there you go. Joining me today, long-time viewers will obviously recognise that beautiful face. Andy, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. I'm all edited out. The amount of editing I've been doing, so yeah. It's all fun. It's all fun and games. But I've been working on intros and end credits and stuff as well, so it's not just.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is, mate.
It's fun and games. It's fun and games, mate. And guys, we've got a new face here. Just hang on, down there. Jack, please introduce yourself to the people at home watching.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jack. I'm half of the duo that is known as Match Day Vlogs. We vlog everything for Southampton fans. We are at pretty much every home game, although I wasn't at the one yesterday. So really helpful for this little chat we're going to have because I actually watched it properly rather than being drawn away by everything that's happening in the stadium. So excited to be here, guys. Excited to talk about the game. And just let you know why it was, a Southampton masterclass yesterday.
Yeah. Well, listen. I mean, I said it before we started rolling. We've obviously. I think there was a lot of expectation that's built from our side of things because of the start we've had. I know it was sort of like slightly had the handbrake put on by the Palace result, but I think there was still a lot of fans that thought we were going to turn up to Southampton and it was going to be relatively straightforward. I'm of the opinion that an away point in a Premier League game is never a result that you should really turn your nose up at. But I know there's possibly a lot of fans that might be thinking that's slightly a negative outlook on it. But that's just the way I think. I think if you win your home games and you draw your away games, you're not doing too many things badly.
No, not at all. I thought, I think with us too, there's a lot of bogey run-ins. Like, I can't say how depressing the last couple of games are. The last 3-0 against us have been. So I think there was a lot of people, Saints fans, that thought, oh, this could be a real awful game for us. Yet another, not just 2 points gone, but probably 3 points about to drop out the door. But I think. It was a misfire yesterday on both teams. There should have been a winner, really. But at the end of it, I come out of it going, a clean sheet against a team that's scored as much as you guys. I think it's not a bad result for us. No. And like you probably say, probably a slightly annoying result for you guys.
It is what it is. What was your take on things? Because you was actually there, Milesy, weren't you?
Very flat. Very flat. You can tell. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an expert on Southampton's, but a lot of our players obviously being on international duty, you could sort of tell. Soufal playing 270 minutes, Rice playing 180, Fornals, obviously Antonio travelling all that way, Ben Rama travelling all that way and hardly playing, and I was very surprised with the starting 11. I'm not going to lie. Dawson in. Not saying we would have won or lost without him and the goalkeeper. Fabianski didn't really have much to do yesterday, but his distribution. Everyone said he had a good game, but the fact that he can't kick past the halfway mark and has to pass it is a concern for me still.
Yeah. I mean, looking there, that was our lineup, and I was surprised to see Dawson in the starting 11. I wasn't surprised to see Fabianski myself. I kind of thought Moyes might have sort of like waited until the Europa League game on Thursday against Dinamo Zagreb, so to give him his debut. But the Dawson one did surprise me, especially given how I think the common consensus has been that his performance in the first 3 games, 2 of them were decidedly iffy. So to see him on the team sheet, and I know people were saying, but Zuma only had like maybe 2 training sessions with the team and all the rest of it. But, you've paid that much money for a guy, you've put that much effort into getting him, chasing him, then you're sort of like, you're going for Milenkovic, then you've gone back in for him. and the wages that he's purportedly on, I was quite shocked to see that he wasn't even starting. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely. And he's not just a good defender; he's the best defender we've got. That's why we
Yeah.
bought him. He's become our best defender, and he can't get in the starting lineup. And David Moyes, I love him to bits, but it's a loyalty thing. It's just loyal. He has a certain bunch of players, and they're loyal. But it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I managed to talk about it for 37 minutes, and it seems like I'm repeating myself again, trying to talk about positives. But positive is our first clean sheet of the season. Jared Bowen, probably our best player.
Yeah.
But we'll probably let Jack talk for a bit because I've got a lot of negatives about us as well.
When you saw that lineup that we kicked out there, Jack, what was your initial impression? Was it sort of like, were you sitting there thinking, "Oh, no Zuma"? I think maybe that puts a little bit of odds in our favour, or.
I'll be honest, that is the first thing I looked at, because going into the game, when me and Mike did our preview, I was like, oh, but they've got Zuma, so they can be really like shipped up at the back. Even or on the flip side of that, you sort of look at Zuma and think, oh, it's a new defender in a new place. Maybe we might be able to get the edge on him. I just thought a lot about Zuma playing. Then to see him not, I was like, oh, that's okay. Like, obviously, I don't follow West Ham as nearly as much as you guys, so I looked at it and went, okay, maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe he's not quite 100% fit. Maybe it's this or that, but when I saw what was on the pitch, I was like, I don't see why he's not starting, especially if he's on the bench. If he's not going to play and it's an injury, he shouldn't be on the bench. And if he's ready to go, why put him on the bench? It was a confusing one for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at the Southampton lineup there, Jack, just staying with you. Now, I think everybody pre-match was sort of going, Southampton, they're not going to change. They're going to be 4-4-2. You know, you can pretty much bet your mortgage on it. And yet, looking there was a slight alteration in the formation, which I think you could probably say is possibly a little bit of a backhanded compliment to West Ham, that Ralph Hasenhüttl has deviated from his default formation, his favoured formation, only slightly. You know, he's gone from a 4-4-2 to a 4-1-4-1 formation, but be that as it may, he's still seen fit. He's looked at West Ham and gone, we need to do something different here. Was this a surprise to you and the lineup as well? Nathan Redmond coming in?
Do you know what? When the game started, we all just assumed that Redmond would be playing up top with Armstrong, and we were all sort of like, why has he done that when you've got Shea and Brozier on the bench? Like, that's not the option you'd want. And then when you got them on the pitch, you're like, oh, he's learned a lesson from last season. Last season, you guys ran us ragged in the middle of the park, and that's why the results were the way they went. And for the longest time, a lot of Southampton fans have been critical of Hasenhüttl for not changing that system that he loves so much, because in his mind, this is the system that works. This is the system that we're playing, so let's do it until it falls apart. And then even when it falls apart and people put like 9 goals past you, say, for example.
Oh, that must have hurt.
Oh, it hurts, man. It still does. But, once people that you have to, us as a fan base, you're like, come on, man, you have to see that and be like, we need a plan B. And for the first time in a long time, when we started at this, we were like, oh yeah, okay, this is another plan. This is a bit of management here. He's actually he's done something. And then when it worked and we got on the pitch, I actually thought this is a decent plan for teams like you, who can just pass it about and really hurt us in the middle of the park. And me and Mike weren't far off in our predictions. We were still obviously thinking 4-2-2-2, which is the way he likes to play. But we were saying about putting another winger in the middle of the park with James Ward-Prowse to just make it a slightly more attacking middle of the park, because it seems we get held up quite a lot. And if you watch us in the first half, that was still the same case, because we were terrible first half.
Yeah.
And then it just seemed to work. And then we took Armstrong off because we just couldn't get the ball to him, and brought Brozier on. It was just so much more attacking. And usually by 70, 80 minutes into the game, Southampton are kind of done and dusted, and you've sort of seen the best of us. And yesterday was a real surprise to see us coming towards the final minutes of the game and being the sort of the team on top, looking likely to score. So seeing a new system and it work in a sense where we didn't lose. It was great to see it. And we're still trying to figure out this season what our starting 11 is. I think we don't quite know what it is yet.
Yeah.
But especially with the centre backs, we've got a lot of options with. But I think Steven Salasu did a fantastic game yesterday, helping stopping you guys from doing pretty much anything. So I think that triangle in the middle of having a number 6 and then the 2 centre backs really made our lives a lot sweeter yesterday. Lots of cover. We just can't concede. We concede so much, and I think looking at this is like, oh, that might stop that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think I saw a stat that said that this was your first clean sheet since you played Sheffield United, and it's your first clean sheet at home since you beat Liverpool.
Yeah,
which was in January.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is the last clean sheet that we had was the last time life was sweet for us. Really, just that after that Liverpool game, it's all been all downhill since then. But last season was this struggle of being like such a depleted squad. Like it was unreal how like no squad depth that we had, to a point where we had benches with 2 goalkeepers and half the academy was on there. It was so depressing. And now this season there's depth, and it's just figuring out where the puzzle pieces sit and lie.
Yeah,
and getting a first clean sheet, like we say, at the end of the game, if you looked at it, I don't know if you guys think the same, but I think maybe Southampton probably should have snatched 3 points towards the end, especially when Broja hit the post and we scratched it off the line. If there was a team looking like to win it in the last minutes of the game, it looked like us. So there's a part of us that's like, damn, that's probably 3 points wasted. But there's so many positives to take from it. Like we're kind of like, okay, right, we've learned something here today, so let's take that lesson and move on.
Yeah.
But for once, it was a positive lesson rather than, oh my God, did you see how many we conceded?
Milesy, same question to you. When you saw that lineup from Southampton, I dare say that you looked at it and thought, oh, okay, he's doing something a little bit different here. Did you see that as something of a backhanded compliment, or what was your thoughts?
I was talking to some guy, and obviously, when you go by, well, I didn't go by myself. I drove up with people, but you sit with. Obviously, I've just got a single ticket, and I was talking to this bloke. I actually forgot his name now. So if you're watching, I do apologise. I'll just comment. We was discussing it. It looked like Southampton were playing a back 3. It looked like Romeu was going more deeper, and you were playing like full. Like that's what it looked like at first, and it sort of threw us. And I was like, we've got a game on then. If they're going to a back 3, and we've got our front 4 pushing for, because that's the way it looked like, and I was like, oh, this could be quite comfortable, but no, the game was very, very flat. Southampton have got good players. Like I said, I've done my preview and I highlighted. Always pronounce it wrong. You're right back. Is it?
What, Livramento?
Livramento. Yeah, Livramento. Sorry, I didn't want to say it wrong. And the 3, and James Ward-Prowse and Adam Armstrong. They were the 3, and with Dawson being included, even in the first half, the amount of runs what Armstrong was making behind Dawson, if Ward-Prowse had his head up, we were in trouble, big time. And no, Gineppo, great skillful player, but he was going to cause us problems. He didn't really get back and defend, and Soufal wasn't it. He's done his job defensively, sort of, but it wasn't. I'm just trying to think of how much stuff we can talk about on a 0-0 draw.
I mean, I'll be honest and say that I was really, really busy yesterday afternoon with family commitments and all that. So the only bit of footage I've seen is the footage that Sky kicked out, which lasted about 3 minutes, and it contained obviously the chance in the first half that you mentioned him just there, Milesy. Gineppo he sort of got it on the left, cut inside, got a shot away, and Dawson got his head to it to sort of flick it over the bar. We then had a couple of chances in the second half. I mean, Jack, you mentioned it earlier, the right at the sort of like the last sort of like 10 minutes or so of the match, you guys had 2 absolute glaring opportunities. The first one being the run and shot from Broja, who you obviously got one of 3 players you got from Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's the only one that's still currently on loan, I think. When we picked up 2 more, picked up 2 more from their academy. Really, one of them's playing in our Bs, and then Livramento's the other one, and they've come in and been absolutely wicked so far. We've seen Simu, the other centre back we got from them, play with the Bs a few times, and it's when you see we're buying players from academies, you're like, oh, this this is either going to be great or awful. And I think a lot of people judged our transfer window on seeing us sign very young players, but so far they've come in and they've been absolutely wicked for us. The fact that Livermento has taken Kyle Walker-Peters out of his right back role, like beginning of the season, when you watch a lot of people's previews, they would be talking about Kyle Walker-Peters and how good he is at fullback, and now he's either playing on the left side or he's not getting the game because Livermento's just come in and looked absolutely amazing. But I think the big issue we've got with him and a lot of our players really is that when it gets to that final third, they just don't. They look like deer in headlights. They're like, what? They don't know where the final ball is. They don't know where to put that final touch in, and it's looking a little bit shaky. Ginetto last week against Newcastle missed some sitters, and you can feel that like a lot of our players need to get these goals or these assists quickly for them to start rolling, because you're right. There were times in the game, especially like you say, those last two, Brozier, and was the other one, the Nathan Redmond one, when he just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. That's just, I love Nathan Redmond, man, but he turns that ball over more than anybody else. And it's even when that run was coming, when I realized it was Redmond coming on the other side, I was like, this ain't happening.
As a Southampton fan, when you looked at the business you did in the transfer window, the incomings and the outgoings, principally Danny Ings, were you concerned?
Not necessarily. Like when we were all 50-50 on whether Danny was going to leave, I think the biggest thing for us was the fact he went to Villa.
Right.
It would have honestly made more sense if Danny Ings had went to you guys. Honestly, like you guys need a striker.
Yeah.
And you got European football? Like
yes.
Exactly. Yeah. What he kept on saying to us is he wanted European football and top 5, and we're like, well, West Ham will make sense. Villa doesn't.
Yeah.
So that was where the heartbreak was there, and the way he exited was all a bit.
He's got his last paycheck basically. I think we probably wouldn't have paid the salary what he wanted. That's the only reason. And when you sort of see play, I'm not saying just digging out Danny Ings. A lot of them are money driven. I think if he had to pick, he probably would have chose West Ham, but he's probably thinking of the bank balance at the end of it, probably.
Yeah, and also he's 29 with a year left in his contract, so getting 30 million for him is actually really good business on our part. And the other one being Vestergaard going to Leicester. Now, Vestergaard is a player that from the outside looking in, he's a big, strong centre-back who can head a ball and score some goals. But if you're a Southampton fan, you saw those 3 games where that happened, and realised the rest of the time he was a very slow centre-back who thinks he can knock a long ball over, which, 30% of the time he can, but most of the time he cannot. And he, again, another injury-prone one. So when you saw them both leave and we got 45 million for the pair, actually really good business from us. The biggest, I think, everyone sort of says that, when you sell a striker like Danny Ings, you need to get somebody to replace him. And people tend to think we didn't do that when Adam Armstrong got 20 goals in the Championship. I get it last season, but, Championship players are working more and more now in the Premier League, and we're sort of seeing it come through. And now also Brozier, this Chelsea lad, obviously he got a brace against Newport in the League Cup when we beat him 8-0. Yeah, it's Newport, but it's still 2 goals. He scored twice for Albania during the international break. And then he came on and he looked so quick. Like, he looked great. So I actually looking at it now think, what a wicked window we've had. Like, if you look at our squad depth from last season to this season, you see players in points. It's almost we've doubled the squad, and we've lost a lot of dead weight that we didn't need. We had such a bloated payroll. Fraser Forster is actually our highest paid player, if you can imagine that. Like,
really?
Yeah, because he got that Coleman contract. He got that got it back in those days. So we had some players on some outrageous wages, and we got them all off the books. And now the team's looking younger, better pay grade, and they're all sort of working towards Ralph's systems. They all sort of believe in Ralph, and I think a lot of those older players don't like Ralph's man management or the way he will make you run your socks off. There's a reason Charlie Austin hates us, and it's like that. So yeah, and the team is, I think, week by week getting more and more more cohesive.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Milesy, obviously, because you was there, what was your sort of synopsis of the match in terms of, principally from a West Ham's fans' eyes? in terms of the first half, the second half overall, give me a breakdown of what unfolded in front of you.
Southampton done our homework, mate. Honestly, I'm giving them so much credit, and they deserve it. They learned from what Palace done to us in the second half. Put many stuff behind the ball, and yeah, just stop us playing. Ben Rama was just running into the Southampton players. He didn't know what to do. We were trying to do all these fancy flicks. Antonio, as usual, getting frustrated and going out wide when he should be in the box because he's not getting the ball. And everywhere Antonio went, he had 2 or 3 players around him. He really couldn't do much. The bright spike was Bowen on the counter. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah.
He
probably had our best chance, didn't he, Milesy? Or do you think that's
great
fair
save.
on my part?
Great save from McCart. I know it was straight at him, but the power and the connection he got behind it was very good. We just lacked. We're so good from set pieces, and what frustrated me was Creswell went with the Antonio first yellow card. Sent everyone up. Actually, this is where the moan comes in. Ogbona's probably one of the better headers at the football club, and he's staying back, and Dawson's going forward for a free kick, and then we play it back to Declan Rice, back to Ogbonna, and then back to Fabianski in the 70th minute or whatever it was, and you're thinking that. Obviously, Vlasic come on. He looks tasty, mate. He looks very, very tasty.
I've heard a few people that said he did well.
And I'm not going to name names because I don't do that, but our fan base this morning, this is why we need a striker. Vlasic is a waste of money, according to our West Ham fans this morning. Yeah, I'm not going to name any names. Yeah,
on the basis of a 20-30 minute cameo.
Yeah, can't understand why we've bought him. Yeah, I've screenshotted them comments, and I'm going to wait at the end of the season and see if they say anything different. But no, obviously Vlasic got fouled. 92nd minute, free kick, 25 yards out. I thought Vlasic or Creswell will be all over this. What do we do? Little tap. I think the Southampton player was there before Declan Rice. That's how quick they got out to him, and you're just thinking we're fantastic at set pieces, and we didn't really test them apart from the chance from the corner. But maybe Declan Rice should have come off. 70 minutes he could barely run. Bless him. He's played a lot of football. Maybe a Lanzini could have come on. Wants the ball. Maybe try and drive us forward. I'm guessing we'll talk about that at the end. What happened, but
we might just.
Yeah, the exciting part was the banter with the Saints fans. That was the highlight of my game. I spent more time. I was literally.
Cahill wants to give you a hug.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
It's a friendly hug. It's nothing funny, I'm sure.
That's how they all start.
Well, yeah.
But no, yeah, like
I say that. I wouldn't possibly comment.
No, but like I said, that was the highlight for me. The banter with the Southampton fans.
Yeah,
I'm glad they gave you something to talk about. It's not usually people give us a lot of slack, but I'm glad
to be honest, Jack, a lot of them were like 16, thinking that they've just been released. Their mums have let them out for the first time.
Yeah, and that's brilliant though, because for the longest time it's been older generations saying stuff that you're like, oh no, this is. At least the youngins just putting that full aggression behind it rather than other things.
Yeah. The highlight was that we were singing obviously we were chanting, and then they went, "Your support is shit." And we look around, and there's about 5,000 empty seats, and we're looking, and we're like, "Yeah, that was good chant, mate."
We're a very ironic fan base, so you have to really get our humour.
But there was a lot more said, but I don't really want to say it on camera.
No, you're not allowed, are you?
Just picking this one up. Really? Didn't that wasn't the way that the comment was meant, but there you go. Up to you how you read it. Anyway, slight divergence.
By the way, they're the people who are blocked from my channel, Gatesy.
All right.
Yeah, you're going to get a bit more of them comments.
Oh, okay.
Just a heads up.
No, that's fine, mate. I'll keep an eye out. Yeah, I mean, I say that the Bowen chance was probably our best opportunity. I mean, I looked at, as I say, the last 10 minutes. I thought Southampton, what I saw, I think if I was in Southampton's shoes, and I agree with what Jack said. You know, there's a part of me that would have been like, wow, we probably had the best two chances of the match when Broho hit the post, and then he had the same player then has a header from a Ward-Prowse cross, gets a header, and Declan Rice obviously is on the line to stop it going in the 92nd minute. That goes in, the game's over. It's sort of like that's it. We're going back up the M3 with our tails between our legs. But I mean, to be fair, Jack, I mean, I'll be honest. I think that Southampton, as an outsider looking in, I looked at your transfer window. I asked you earlier, what did you think? I looked at your transfer window, and I've got to be honest, I thought, I think Southampton might be in a bit of trouble here. But having seen you yesterday against us and all the rest of it, do you know what? I'm not so sure. I think you might be all right.
Yeah, it's I get it. From the outside looking in, it looks like we lost big players and we didn't replace them. But if you were a Saints fan, you saw after Coman left, those sort of like end of the Poches into the Coman era of Southampton, we signed a lot of players on big contracts, expecting them. We were spending 20 to 30 million on players, trying to take that step up, and it backfired on us so badly. Like, if you look at the players that sort of came in and out between those years, it's just ridiculous. Like, don't know if you guys remember Danny Osvaldo, Italian striker, scored an absolute ripper against City, but then he decided he didn't want to play football no more, and he went on the Italian version of the X Factor. That's the level we were working at, trying to sign these big players. And now the club's being run in such a different way, and a lot of our fans don't like our owners. But, I don't think that a lot of fans don't like their owners, but in reality, they give us a certain amount of money, and the people
we love our owners.
Yeah, I can imagine. they got you that nice ground. They know what they're doing for you. Well, we've got a Chinese businessman who invested in the Premier League when there was all that Chinese investment, and then the Premier League banned that investment, and suddenly Chinese owners were pulling out, and now he's still here with the opinion of, listen, I'm going to help you out, but it's not on the scale that I was going to do it. Good luck. And we're currently trying to find new investors to do it. But the guys who actually run the club day to day have got such a better idea of what should be done. Buying young players, buying up and comers, really relying on our youth and our scouting. And it may not look exciting from the outside, but on the inside, as a team who love young, exciting players, it's great. It's really great. And you look at like a player like Bertrand, he's a great example of, in everybody's eyes looking in, he was one of our best players. He won a Champions League, he's won a Premier League. But now we've got Peru who's come in instead of him. You sort of look at the squad and see how much more of an attacking threat he is and how much more we create down the other wing. You look back and think, actually, maybe Bertrand was hindering us. Yeah, he was a good squad player who played well defensively, but he didn't offer a lot anywhere else. Yeah. So we've now got this young player in. We don't know too much about him. Not a very exciting prospect, but then you get him on the pitch and suddenly you're like, oh my God, we're now attacking down both wings and we don't need to rely on the centre back to hit a through ball. It's great. So we're 25 million in the green after the transfer window.
It's not bad.
Like, it's just it's great business from the side, and obviously we'll give it the full judgment at the end of the season how well it is, but. In reality, I think we've done really, really well. And also, Theo's come home. All right, he might not be the same Theo that left, but Theo's come home.
Yeah. Well, let's get to it. 95th minute, Milesy. 95th minute. There was an incident that took place involving the Premier League Player of the Month, Mr. Mikel Antonio.
It's the curse.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? There's usually a curse attached to a Player of the Month, Manager of the Month, and all the rest of it. And it struck on the 95th. Well, I think it struck on the 71st minute and the 95th because it was two yellows, obviously. But talk me through what you saw, what your feelings were as he went lunging into that challenge in the 95th minute. The game's done. You're on a yellow card. What were you thinking?
Stay on your feet.
Yeah.
Just stay on your feet. But Was there contact? Mm, yeah. It's was there? But that's the problem with VAR. Like I've been all for it, but then when you see incidents like that, when they can't review a second yellow, I just don't see the point of it. They can upgrade a yellow to a red, but they can't, or take away a red, like a straight red to a yellow. But why can't they do it the other way around? I really don't understand. But he's got 2 weeks off, so hopefully he comes back firing after that. That's the only positive I can take from it.
Did he look? I mean, sort of like, do you think this international break has affected him more than the others?
No, it's affected all of us, mate. This is the first international break where the 3 fixtures have been played, and it's all right for the top 6 sides because they can change as many players as they want.
Yeah.
With a squad like ours, when how many players? I think there was 8 or 9 on international duty or whatever we had. It's going to take its toll, and they're our first team players. It's not like you've got. I'm just trying to think at City, who hardly plays, who still goes on international duty. I'm just trying to give an example, but you get the idea. What I'm. Yeah, exactly. It's like what difference does it make for City? But no, in my opinion, it was harsh, but he invited it on himself.
What about yourself, Jack? Did you think it was a harsh yellow? Given the game was virtually done, or again being completely objective about it, was it a yellow?
Well, I think I would say if I was in the ground, if I was in my seat, I would have been asking for a red. But in reality, I look at it and think he's not really made much contact. Maybe it is a yellow, but I'm more annoyed at the fact that we were on the break after it.
Yeah,
rather than just play advantage and let's see how the play go on, and then you can go back for it. He blew up, and there's a reason that Ralph also got a yellow because he was livid at it. It's like. And now that you look back at it and you think, well, the contact's not that bad. Okay, if he wasn't on a yellow, would you give him a yellow for that? Maybe, probably. But, I thought the refs were meant to be letting the game play this season. Yeah. And so far, it's been good.
The highlight for me, Jack, if you actually watched the game, was when Bonner went down and none of the players knew what he was doing with a drop ball or anything. He didn't make it clear. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about it, Gatesy.
No, go on.
Do you want to explain it, Jack, or do you want me to?
No, I'll allow you to do it. You were there.
Right, so obviously it was down the other end, so we could barely see it. So the ball come in and Bonner got a head injury. All the same, but I think we would be the same. It would be like, what's going on? But he was actually like Sparko, I think, pretty much. Well, not Sparko, but like down on the floor. So David Coote stopped the game. Head injury cleared. All of a sudden, he's drawing markings out with the spray. We were like, she gave a free kick for. He stopped play. Didn't know what was going on. All of a sudden, he's then just dropped the ball. Fornells knew it was a drop ball. And Fornells has run and got the ball. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, I'm in and ahhing, like, what's going on? But we were on the counter-attack. So we were thinking, like, oh, here we go. Like, we're on. And then he then stopped and then done it again. But the Southampton had to touch. It was like really, really. That's what it looked like from my. But Jack, if you were watching it, was that pretty much what happened?
Yeah, it was confusing for everyone. Like, I think first of all, I was in the midst of being annoying that he'd gone down for a head injury. I was like, like being the same as like anybody. Where we were on the attack, he's blown up, for because he's on the floor. And then when he dropped the ball, I was like, that's when it was confusing because I was like, right, it's a drop ball. Okay, that's what we're doing. And then it happened, and Nathan Redmond sort of did nothing, sort of looking at him, and then you ran in. I was like, what's happened there? Like, what's going on? And then when he blew up, I was like, well, no, surely it's a drop ball. Like, fair play to West Ham. They've pounced on that and they've taken it. Why have you blown up again? Who have you not explained this to?
And then he done the marking again, didn't he? Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? How can you be a drop ball and have a marking? He didn't know what the hell he was
professional
doing.
Referee, apparently.
Yeah, it's
professional.
It's just very confusing. Like I've always said, VAR is not really the problem in this game. It's them lot. Not being clear, not being decisive, and not really knowing their own rules.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try and take obviously, there does. You're right, Milesy. There has seemed to have been a little bit of negativity in certain quarters about the result yesterday, which I sort of think, no, come on, let's get a little bit of perspective here. Here's one positive we can take out of it. We're unbeaten in our first 4 Premier League matches of a season for the first time in 21 years. That's got to be a reason to be slightly optimistic, and not sort of like.
But I said this on my show earlier. I put this to Jack as well. If he was in this situation, I'd have rather have beat Palace last week and lost yesterday.
Well, we'd be a point better off, wouldn't we? I suppose.
I would like to have won yesterday. So yeah.
No. But do you see what I mean? Like the unbeaten run is good, but we could have if you had it, we would have been better off. If you understand, I'm just trying to put it on another spin on it. But yeah, I understand. Unbeaten, still good.
Yeah.
And did you see about Leicester? Leicester drew when they won the title to a person from the South Coast, which was Bournemouth, and they won the title, and they were unbeaten after 4 games as well. So you never know.
Hey mate, City didn't need a striker last season,
No. Here's one for you, Jack. You ended a run of 14 Premier League matches without a clean sheet. First since March and against Sheffield United on home soil. Your first since a 1-0 win over Liverpool in January. As I say, we touched on that a little early. So there's a little nugget of positivity for you as well.
Yeah, like I say, there's loads. That clean sheet is a big takeaway for us. Our goalkeeper situation is all over the shop. Like McCarthy made that save yesterday against. What was the shot? What was the big save that he made? Was it against
from Bowen?
That's it. Yeah. I would say 9 times out of 10, the rest of the season that would have gone in because he can't stop shots that come at him. If you look at the goals we've conceded this season, a lot of them have been headers straight at him, and he can't stop it. Don't know why. That's the way it is. So for him to be able to pull off a decent save in the game, he was a bit more communicative yesterday. You can see him shouting a bit more. It felt good just to get that clean sheet. We needed it.
I've got to admit, Jack, like every corner he just come out and catched it, which was surprising me as well. So to be fair, a lot of them were on his 6-yard box, but he had a good game yesterday.
Oh yeah, he's been a big moan of mine, and I want him to be so good because there are games where he is absolutely wicked. He's 50-50. It is wicked or terrible. But like yesterday, he was coming out catching stuff. I thought we did quite well to sort of just dampen down your set pieces. Like you say, the free kick towards the end of the game where Gineppo somehow got to it before Rice and just was a gladiator and jumped on it. And then there was a free kick really early on in the game with Romeo fouled you, or maybe it was in like the first 5-6 minutes, like proper early. And nothing came from it. I was like, oh, I thought that was how we were going to concede yesterday. I thought, right, we're going to let something stupid's going to slip here. But it never did. So it just makes me think that they're just talking a bit more in the box. So it's a great, like I say, great clean sheet for us yesterday.
Unfortunately, this one you're not going to like me for, Jack. You failed to win any of your opening 4 Premier League games for the season for the first time since 2016-17 season, where you drew 2 and lost 2 that season, but you recovered to finish 8th that season.
We rarely start strong. We rarely finish strong. We like to have a little bit in the middle. That's all right. And then it's the thing with Southampton. It's hard for us to take any of these things in because we never know what we're going to get. We're a team that could finish 8th or we could finish 17th. Like we could finish anywhere, and it's just on what happens within the season. Just the little things that go astray. But the good thing that we've seen is Ralph's management is starting to take a bit of effect, and you're starting to see like the formation yesterday. He learned from the Palace game. He learned from what happened last season to us. And that's great. That means where there is absolute progression. And to be fair, it's I think it's 3 points last season that we didn't have. We lost to you last season. We lost to Newcastle last season, and we lost to United, if you remember last season. So, it's 3 points gained from 0 points from last season. So that is a progression. We've got a little bit of a bad run coming up, but as soon as we start playing the games like Norwich, Brentford, those sort of things, if we can hopefully you'll sort of see us take a bit more shape and get a better feel for it.
You say about a bad run, Jack. I've just looked at your next fixture.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not completely stoked about it, but I don't have to, at least I don't have to play Ronaldo to like next year.
Yeah, true enough.
Sorry, Jack. I've just someone else retweeted this, and you retweeted this yesterday after the game. Superb as always, Saints fans. Do you ever feel you're? I'm not trying to like be like thingy, but do you have, apart from the big games, is it never really full? Because I was very surprised, or is that a bit harsh?
To be honest, it's a weird one. Like sometimes you go there and it's popping, it's full, and then sometimes they just can't fill it out. I think, especially this season, what I've seen so far, and even like in some of the friendly games at pre-season, I think a lot of our fans have like families are buy tickets on the day, and I feel like a lot of those people are wishy-washy. Oh, I can't be bothered. Let's not go. Oh, actually, I can't be asked. So although the tickets sell, it's just like, it's just around the corner. So, and it's been so bad, our home form, and it's people are just waiting for it to come to life again, and that's just the way it is. Southampton isn't the biggest city, but they should be selling out of that stadium every week. And even if you look in the forums, I'm sure you guys are the same. If you spend an hour going through forums with your own club, you're like, oh my god, how are these also the supporters of the same club as me?
Yeah.
And because Southampton's so much smaller than like a London side, you can spread out. There's a lot of things. It gets on top of itself and can get a bit toxic a bit quickly. So we're kind of just hoping that the team makes it up. As soon as the team starts playing well, we see cohesion and people start to get behind it again. And I do think the youthful transfers and the way that the squad has changed right now is going to help us. I do think it's going to do wonders for us. But you even look at, like, say, our channel. We don't get the most views in the world. But if you come on it, you see it's not a bad show. But I feel if we always get told if we weren't a Southampton fan channel, we'd probably be doing much better numbers.
That's sort of a backhanded compliment, I guess.
Which is, I get it, because the worst grief that we have gotten as a channel has been from Southampton supporters, and as much as we love them, we also hate them as well. So I think it's just a smaller club, of a city that's all very much on top of itself, and we're just trying to break through it, trying to find that new bit of life to it. So you do get to games where we're like, what's going on here? Why is it not sold out? Why is it emptying out so quickly? Every game we usually hear, why is there a fire drill? So I get it. I get it.
Well, obviously, as I say, we've touched on your next game, Jack. Your next game's at home against Manchester City Saturday next week. Milesy, obviously, we've got a game a little bit sooner than that, haven't we?
Yeah, on Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Away in Croatia. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
You're looking a little bit trepidatious, if I may say so, Milesy.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm really looking forward to it, but I don't want to sound too negative, but everyone's like, oh, if we play like that it's like, you should be taking this like.
There's got to be a lot of changing, though, wouldn't you think? I mean, you think Vlasic will start, Zuma will start, probably Areola. There'll be a bit of shuffling around, I think.
Yeah, no, and I think we still have enough for him. I think we still have enough. In my opinion, we should be. But it's the adjusting to the Sunday game and then the Wednesday game.
Just in answer to this question here from Almighty Blues, who do you think is going to be the replacement number 9? Do you think it's going to be Bowen, or do you think maybe Vlasic, Benrahma? What are your thoughts?
I think it'll be Vlasic, but I think it'll be like when Antonio was injured last year, when we had Lingard, the front three or front four, called to speak, would just alternate. And that's what I said. We've got to take this as a positive. If they're on the front four, that's how we scored so many goals. No one knew who to pick who up. So if they're alternating and running and whatnot off the ball, and you can't take nothing away from their talents, I think we'll still be fine. The worrying thing for me would be if Yarmolenko starts over Vlasic. I'm on about next Sunday. Thursday, I'm not really that bothered. I'm on about next Sunday against Man United.
Fair enough. Well, some way, somehow, gentlemen, we've managed to get nearly 3/4 of an hour out of a 0-0 draw. God knows how we've done it. It's ridiculous. But I think I'm going to wrap it up now. But before I do, I'd just like to give you two the opportunity to give your respective YouTube channels a shout out. So, Jack, after you, sir.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on. It's been a privilege talking to you guys. Always like talking about
our pleasure
0-0 games. I like to think that something that our channel can do is get 45 minutes out of 0-0 games, because that's what Southampton is. That's what we are. So yeah,
I thought normally you concede, so I think you should take this as a
exactly. What usually happens is, we lose points from being in front. So I'll take this, and coming on with a draw makes me look good. So yeah, come catch us. Matchday vlogs everywhere. YouTube, Twitter, not Twitch. TikTok, our TikTok's popping, guys. We are down with the kids like no man's business.
Oh, I'll get my daughter to subscribe.
Yeah, man. We got a video that's on 1 million views of my hat.
Really?
I don't know, but that's what the kids want. That is what they are getting. Prime content. So yeah, Matchday vlogs, guys. Come check us out everywhere. Matchday vlogs, Southampton. You'll find us. Me and Mike chat and waffle. It's a good time.
Good fun. And Milesy, you want to give your YouTube channel a plug?
Yeah. So I'm West Ham United, as people probably know in the chat. I'm still going to collaborate with Duke and Gatesy, but I've decided to create another channel, West Ham Reunited, where our main objective is reuniting the old history of West Ham into the new. So with me and Jazz, have already got days booked off for the next couple of weeks, where for the first time, I'm going back to Upton Park since we left, and we're going to be filming like where we used to sit, where we used to drink, training, going to the old training grounds, stuff like that. So yeah, and Gatesy, you'll probably like this as well. We're also doing food reviews as well. So we're going to the old places where we used to go, and then we're going to Nathan's and stuff like that.
I know, obviously the business is shut. I mean, is anything else gone in there? Do you know, or is it still empty?
I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah,
we're going to have to watch the channel to find out.
I am. Yeah, that's the trick. That's what he's doing.
And we're also, I said to Jazz, good job I'm on this diet, because the weekends we're just going to be stuffed, because he also wants us to review every single stall at the London Stadium outside to taste it and give it a rating. I was like, I hope you're not expecting me to do that in one day.
That's just what I was thinking. I was going to say you'd be hard pressed.
So yeah, we're trying all the bars as well. He wants to even rate. We're even going to start rating the cups, what you get on the drink. It's like, right, we'll talk about save the environment. But yeah, West Ham Reunited, come and give us a sub. And like you said, we're still collaborating with yous anyway on certain bits. So.
Hang on, look at this comment from Luke. There's no need for that. I wasn't alive in 1923. For goodness sake, I'm not as old as I look, honestly. But gentlemen, I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much indeed for your attention. As I say, guys, please give both Jack and Andy your support. Give them a follow on YouTube and all the various social media platforms on which they have their they're sort of like themselves spread across. Please, if you haven't already, make sure you drop a like on this stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and as Duke would say, touch that bell, and you'll be notified of any new content as and when we upload it to the channel. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your attendance. Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, sir. And on behalf of myself and Duke, obviously, if we can ever reciprocate that particular favour, we'd be delighted to do so.
Absolutely. We're definitely to get you on for the replay. Definitely to get you there.
Good man. Looking forward to it. Milesy, do you want to do your normal sign out?
Yeah, we are fucking massive.
We are. Come on, you Irons.